So, in the state of Wyoming now, they've recently imposed a new mask mandate. And even though Wyoming had more than 70% of its voters vote for Donald Trump in 2020, we haven't joined on the Texas lawsuit. Now, I don't know. I'm a comedian, I'm a writer, I'm a musician, I'm not a lawyer, okay? So I don't know exactly what the legal best practices are here. Here's what I do know. Our communities, the constituents of Mark Gordon in Wyoming, they want justice. Joe Biden said he's going to end the energy industry as we know it because he's going to get rid of fossil fuels. That's coal, oil, gas, all three of which basically run Wyoming. Oil, coal, and gas, all right? Biden wants to get rid of it. Trump doesn't. Georgia, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and I believe Wisconsin and Michigan. Those are the four, I believe, that are being sued. Again, don't quote me. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a concerned citizen. And as a concerned citizen, I urge you in Wyoming and in other states, if they haven't joined the lawsuits, to call your governor, to call your attorney general, and urge them legally, politely, using the public avenues made available to us by our governing, I don't want to call them personnel, and I don't want to call them chosen officials because so many of them cheated to get there. But those who are in authority need to know the will of the people is for justice. They need to know that America voted in Donald Trump, and we're not going to stand for this sort of underhanded chicanery. We're not going to allow our election to be stolen. Because what the American people who voted Donald Trump understand almost unilaterally is that if Biden gets in as the puppet administrator of China, our country becomes a Venezuela or a Soviet Russia. It becomes a fascist shadow of what it once was. And the American people who are armed, because they were unable to unarm us, thank God, I think the American people are going to stand against that. I would be more surprised if one of the gentlemen leading the armed forces didn't consolidate local militias together as a group to defend our country. I'd be surprised if Biden's announcement to be the president by the establishment did not result in a civil war. And I'd be surprised if an American civil war in 2020 didn't result in a world conflict, because so much of the economy is tied up in the United States interests. So what I think we need to do as individuals is follow Plato's advisement that those who don't get involved with the political process are doomed to be governed over by their inferiors. Now, that's a paraphrasing. I haven't even read Plato. I got that off one of the guys I watch. There's not time to fully examine everything on our level unless you're an attorney working with a team toward a specific goal. There's too much information to comb through. Even the attorneys are going to have trouble, but at least they are on the clock and can give all their energy to this. I still have to work and deal with my family and the remnants of my destroyed career as a comedian owing to the pandemic shutdown. If Biden makes it in, that's the end of it for me. I have to choose a new way of living. If Trump makes it in, I can still pursue comedy. If Biden makes it in, there's no point unless I'm willing to abase myself at the state's behest. There'd be no chance at success and a high chance of getting imprisoned for some fascist BS like having an opinion that's the truth rather than an opinion conforming to state-sponsored Chinese narratives. Now keep in mind, I'm not against the Chinese people. I'm against the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. I'm against the Maoist Bolshevism, the Bolshevik Maoists, the derivative pretenders to the throne of China who have stolen that country for several generations now and recently stole Hong Kong against international treaties. That's who I am against, and that's who we all should be against if we value freedom. It doesn't matter if you're on the right side of the fence or the left side of the fence. This affects us all. Yuri Bezmenov said in '84, I believe, in the interview with G. Edward Griffin, that the demoralized man won't understand until there's a jackboot on his neck, that the demoralization propaganda narrative to which he is ascribed at every level in education owing to brainwashing, that's ideological subversion for you, but he won't understand what's happened until the jackboot's on his neck. So I'm through arguing with people. I'll talk to you. I'll tell you the truth. And if you're going to waste my time, I'll block you because I've got better things to do and more people to wake up, and people who are brainwashed won't understand until they're in the trench with a boot on their neck. And they'll fight against you and they'll try and undermine you. So it's not about having a free and open discussion of ideas anymore. Now it's about pushing your will on somebody else. And I'm not here to push my will on other people. I'm here to make it so people can be free. And so if they're going to push their will on me, then I'm just going to block them. I got no need for it. I encourage you to do the same. It's not an issue as it was before 2020. Before 2020, there was a difference. Before 2020, you could have discussions. At the end of 2019 into 2020, things fundamentally changed. We are at the precipice of war. We can avoid armed conflict if we get our politicians to do their job. And the best way to do that is to take active part in our government as citizens. So call your elected officials, email them, send them messages on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. If they're wise enough to be on Parler, they're probably on your side. Help direct them where they need to go and what they need to do. I'm going to be doing a protest tomorrow night here in Gillette. I'm not running it. I'm just joining up with a bunch of other people. I'm just a dude in the crowd. Turns out my Zoom meeting is at 7, so I'm going to join them, then do my Zoom, and then finish up the protest if it's still going, which I expect it will be. But it's Gillette and it's a small town. Then there's another protest on Friday. And you won't see me wearing a mask. And hopefully I can get some good footage of it. In any event, that old saying about the tree of liberty requiring the blood of patriots to maintain its health, I just really hope it doesn't come to blood. I'm not a fighting type. I'm smart, though. I can think on my feet. I can do the right thing. I really hope I don't have to. I don't know if I'll be able to. But I'm not planning on giving up, and I've got nothing to lose. God bless y'all. We need to keep holding the line until the right thing happens, and it can be done.